Hello. So I just wanted to do a quick update because it has been a couple days since I filmed and I need to get back in the habit and I really need to get motivated for a big video. I really need to make a big, nice, special video. Maybe filming these vlogs will give me more inspiration or more motivation to film my bigger videos. So last Saturday, which was exactly 1 week ago, I decided to drive to Disneyland to go meet my grandparents down there because my grandparents were in town. I ended up driving down to Disneyland and all throughout the day I was panicking. So I had taken half a Xanax around lunchtime and I think that in my mind, I feel like it's better to break up the Xanax to a tiny little crumb, and so I'll take half of a Xanax and then break off the ends of the pill and take that. And that's probably not a good thing because I'm probably just taking out the medicine and really doing something that is counter helpful. I'm not helping myself that way, I'm just making things harder. So for whatever reason I was doing that for a while, and that could have been why the Xanax wasn't fully helping me because I still had anxiety all throughout the day. And then when it got time to leave, we were walking out and I just start going into a full-blown panic attack. My mind is just telling me, okay, you're not going to be able to drive home. So as we're leaving, I'm just completely freaking out. My thoughts are racing. My thoughts are telling me you're going to be stuck here. There's no way you can drive all the way back all by yourself. There's no way you're going to be able to do that. You cannot drive on the freeway with a panic attack like this. You're not going to be able to do that. You can't function. You can't stand here and exist like this right now. So you're not going to be able to drive. You're going to be stranded here and you're going to need to get help. So I eventually sit down. I had barely eaten all day because I just had terrible anxiety and the fear of getting sick or throwing up or whatever. And so I sit down and I start eating, and that initially helps me because I get my blood sugar up. I'm like, okay, I can stand up and maybe this will help my shaking or whatever. Eating was helpful, but it still didn't completely calm me down. I had told my grandparents I was freaking out and they were so understanding and they were totally trying to calm me down and help me and just get me to a relaxed state. And as I started calming down, we start walking towards the parking lot area where I have to take the tram to my car. And I'm supposed to get on the tram by myself without them, and that's where we kind of part ways. And so I get on the tram and I'm like, okay, on the tram. And within seconds, I am freaking out. Within seconds, I am in a full-blown level 10 panic attack. I mean, I don't think I've ever panicked this hard in my entire life. My mind is telling me, you need to get help right now. You need an ambulance. You need to go to the hospital. You need to get sedation or medication or some kind of medical treatment so that you can calm down. You cannot stay in this state a second longer. This physical state that you're in. You need to get help. So I'm thinking of an ambulance, I'm thinking of a hospital, I'm thinking, okay, I need medical attention, I need help right now. And I think I knew logically that I was having a panic attack, but it felt so serious, and if you have panic attacks, you probably totally understand. It is utter torture. So I'm sitting on the tram, and I guess this was the point of rock bottom of my summer, because I don't really see how it could get any worse. Since that point, I haven't been the same. I'm sitting on the tram. I've just called my grandpa's wife telling her, I can't do this, I need to go back to your hotel, I need to lay down, I cannot drive home by myself. And she's like, okay, that's totally fine, you do that. I had just hung up with her, and I'm not gonna make it back to my car. I end up reaching that point of no return and going with the panic and completely going with all the thoughts that I need help, which is the complete worst thing that you can do in a panic attack. There is nothing worse that you can do in a panic attack than to go with the panic. Never, ever go with the panic. Never go with the feeling. Never go with the thoughts. Never believe them. Never feed them. Just, you have to fight. You have to deny every single lie that comes into your mind. And although you might be shaking, and although your heart might be racing, and although you might feel like you're going to throw up, It's so difficult, but you have to continue to tell yourself that you will be okay, that you will survive it. Do not go with it. So like I said, I went with it, and the result of that was too petrifying for words. The terror that followed after I went with it is too agonizing to explain. My next thought, as the tram is going through its little tunnel to the parking lot, my next thought is to jump out of the moving tram at Disneyland. I was in such a sheer terror that I was legitimately considering jumping over the tram door and running out in public, desperately asking for medical attention, begging for help, all of these things. I was seriously considering jumping out of the moving tram, despite whatever consequences might come from that. But I didn't. I didn't jump out of the tram. My heart's racing, I'm shaking, I'm freaking the heck out. Like, I am dying. Somebody help me. And as, you know, I was walking to my car, I'm crying in front of everybody, and it's this, I don't know if it was embarrassing, I'm sure I didn't care, but it was just, I get into my car, and I just break down and sob. Then I turn on my GPS, punch in my address, back out of my parking spot, and head for the long, terrible ride home in the rain, full of anxiety. And I finally made it home. But the story does not end there, unfortunately. I get home. I had taken one of those amazing turkey legs from Disneyland home, and I start eating, and obviously I'm exhausted and I'm devastated and I feel like my life sucks at this point, but I'm hungry, so I eat it. Then I feed my dog and go to sleep. And I'm thinking, okay, what a terrible experience. It's over with. Going to sleep. End of story. But the story continued. I don't know why it had to continue. So I actually end up waking up just a few hours after I had fallen asleep, and I am sweating. I am so hot. So hot. Check my thermostat. It's like 76 degrees in here. It's nice and cool in here. So it's definitely me. I go and check my temperature. I have a little bit of a fever. Okay, instantly, of course, I'm going to freak out because I'm like, why do I have a fever? I shouldn't have a fever. I didn't have a fever this morning. And I had taken Xanax before I had fallen asleep. And so I was thinking, okay, why do I have anxiety? I shouldn't have anxiety. Xanax should have taken care of that. Am I having a reaction to the Xanax? I've taken it all these times. What the heck is going on? I am freaking out again. So at this point, my heart is racing so hard. I'm feeling nauseated. I feel sick. I do not feel well. And at this point, I'm not thinking that it's just a panic attack because it's so physical. I feel like I definitely need help this time. So I call my dad and I tell him I need to call an ambulance. I have to call 911. I think I'm having a heart attack. I could be having a reaction to my Xanax. This isn't right. I need to call. He's trying to calm me down. He can see that I'm not going to listen to him, and I'm just being very difficult, and I'm completely freaking myself out. And so he goes, okay, fine, call, whatever. After, that long battle of, Kiara, you're okay, try to relax. But it was kind of like, whatever, okay, call then. So we get off the phone, I turn on YouTube, put on some prank videos, which... Thank the Lord for YouTube, because YouTube is amazing. So I'm watching these prank videos, I drift back off into sleep, and I didn't call 911 for the second time. I didn't do anything crazy. I was actually able to fall asleep and wake up the next day, and the next day was so depressing and I was so devastated. But look, I'm alive, I did it, and I didn't make a scene. I mean, I made a little bit of a scene, but I didn't make any huge, life-changing, disastrous decisions. So after surviving those two hellish and indescribable terrors of experiences. I woke up the following day and didn't want to do anything because it's very hard to just get up and feel awesome after you have just experienced something like that. So I think I left my house like once or twice just to like go to the store or go to the gym, and that was about it. As the days progressed, every time it would come time to leave my house, I would start freaking out and getting anxiety. And when it would be time to come home and get back in my car, I would kind of replay that moment, and it was kind of like it was happening all over again. I didn't want to get back in my car, I felt stranded, and that caused a panic attack. So at this point, I'm having anxiety attack, panic attack kind of situations all throughout the day, and I'm miserable. On Monday night, it was really difficult to just drive to my mom's house just so I could paint a picture and hang out. And then when it was time to drive home, I started freaking out again. On Tuesday, I drove to the mall, and every time that it was time to step on the escalator, I would start having a panic attack. And when it was time to leave, I went into a full-blown panic attack, and I start spilling my pills out. I'm dropping them like I need a Xanax. And at that point, I only had like one Xanax left, so that was stressful. The following day, I'm panicking as I'm trying to get to my counselor's office. Driving to and from places just eventually seemed impossible, at least impossible to do without completely freaking out. By Friday, I couldn't even drive up the street to pick up a to-go order without panicking. Obviously, my traumatic experience on Saturday has left me scarred, obsessed, and very paranoid. Despite all my challenges, I do think the fact that I have at least tried to leave my house every single day does say a lot about how far I've come. When I was a lot younger and I was afraid to leave the house, I was afraid to leave the house, and I wasn't going to leave the house. But today I'm saying no, this is not going to control my life. I cannot continue to be afraid of things that aren't going to hurt me, including my medication. Initially, I was out of Xanax. I only had like one left, and I was saving it just in case, didn't want to take it because if I was going to have a horrible panic attack again, I wanted to have it there, so I wasn't going to touch it. But then I got it refilled, and after that, I still didn't want to leave my house, and I still didn't want to take it. Even though I had the Xanax, I had become afraid that I was going to have a seizure if I tried to get off of it, or something crazy would happen to me, or that I would become dependent upon it. All these things, I just became really afraid to take it again. After taking it at Disneyland and still continuing to panic and then waking up and having that horrible panic attack where I thought I was having a heart attack, really just left me shaky. I'm still very afraid, and I'm still kind of getting back on my feet from all of that. So I didn't want to take the Xanax. This whole entire week has been very excruciating. I've barely left my house, and by last night, Friday, things were not looking good, and I really didn't want to go anywhere. Today, I took half a Xanax, I went to the gym, and I'm going to attempt to go to the movies tonight with my dad and have a good time and not freak out. And if I do freak out, I have my Xanax, I have my techniques. We're going to give it a go. Trust me, I've been at the point where I've sat in my room and been like, no, not going anywhere, not leaving, no. Anxiety has me chained to the bed, but I am never going back there again. I will not work from home. I will not go to school from home. I will go out into society and I will fight as hard as it takes. I'm not going to stop fighting when I feel weak. I'm not going to stop when I get tired. I'm not going to stop when I'm exhausted, when I'm miserable, when it's excruciating, when I feel like I'm living in torture. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop fighting until this is anything but easy, and exhausted is an understatement. If I didn't have the hope that I have, I wouldn't last another day. But once I conquer this, once we conquer what is weighing us down, this world will never be the same. If for any reason you need to contact me, you totally can, and please share this video with someone that you know that might have anxiety or panic attacks, because I do want to reach everybody that I can. Peace out, home dogs.